Record. And here we go. When you think about what's happening in Mexico right now with the crimes and the drugs and violence, kidnapping and trafficking young women is one of the most common criminal acts happening in the country. And no book exposes it better than Disappear. The story is told through the perspective of a brother and sister living in Juarez. Both have their own goals and obstacles to overcome, and even though they're separate from each other, the more you read, the more you realize that the actions they take will connect them in the most dramatic way possible. The book is brilliantly written and easy to follow because each chapter focuses on one character. Sara is the maverick of the story. She's a journalist reporting on the growing number of missing women in the city. It's become very personal to her because one of the victims is her best friend. And in the months following her disappearance, she starts to lose support from everyone that she knows, her friends, her colleagues. She sees no effort from the police, no effort from anyone in the city, really. And she does what anyone does when they're left with no choice, and that's take matters into her own hands. When she starts asking questions and poking around, things become very dangerous for her. And she doesn't know who to turn to, she doesn't know who to trust, but she's determined to find her friend. She refuses to let her go. And she will do whatever it takes to find her and catch the people responsible, even if that means risking her own life. Like most kids who grow up in poverty, they grow up really fast. And Emiliano is no different. He's a teenager with the mindset of an adult. He's got street smarts, he's hardworking, he's part of a small tight-knit group who play in a soccer league, and he's a hustler. He has a side business that earns him money that then goes to help his mother pay for food and rent and things like that. One of the aspects of Emiliano that makes his story interesting is his relationship with his girlfriend. His girlfriend comes from a very wealthy family, and Emiliano is working to build a future that can provide that kind of lifestyle. When the opportunity presents itself for him to make real money, it is very difficult for him to say no and make your dream come true, have this life that you've always wanted. But like everything, it comes at a cost. And for Emiliano, it becomes a question of, is this cost worth what it can give me? The elements of the book are very rich, very relatable. Family is one of the common themes throughout the story, especially the love that Sara and Emiliano have for their mother. In their father's absence, there's this obligation to their mother that they take on. And anyone who grew up with a single mother knows what that feels like. You want your mother to be happy. You want your mother to be comfortable. The love-hate relationship between father and son is something that I think many people can relate to. Emiliano has never fully gotten over his father leaving. And because of that, he's taken on the role of the male figure in the house. And when you have so many responsibilities, it can get overwhelming, especially when you're a young kid like Emiliano. Most teenagers are worried about school or friends or what have you, but Emiliano has his mom and sister to take care of. He has to work, he has to provide. And when you're that young with that much responsibility in a city that is anything but a place of opportunity, it can be very frustrating. When you read about corruption happening in the world, you lose a sense of hope in the system. And if you're someone looking for justice, someone who's looking to do the right thing, it can be intimidating and very scary to go up against these powerful people. And Disappeared gives you a sense of that. Some of the best writers, in my opinion, are the ones that don't have to paint the full picture. There are books out there that you read that go so far into describing the scene that you forget what the scene is about. And you end up reading this 500-page book that's 200 pages of descriptions. Great storytellers tell stories. They don't describe them. Francisco Stork, he's a great storyteller. The scenarios presented in the book are not exaggerated. They're not full of pulp. They're things that could happen and may very well have happened. Journalists are no strangers to threats, and young kids are tempted to live a life of crime for money. For a reader, it makes for great fiction and entertainment, but for others, it's life.